Hi, this is Steve with HomeStrung Jewelry, and today we're going to meet the orphans that are going to be going into the November Gemstone Orphanage subscription box. And as you can see here, we're going to be featuring Plume Agates as our Gemstone Orphans this month. The theme of this box is going to be National Treasures, and the National Treasures which we're talking about is the national park system, and also state parks, and in particular those parks that come from the area of the country in which we live, which is called Color Country. It includes 5 national parks and quite a number of state parks, national monuments, and the colors that are going to be featured in the box will be coming from this region. And here's a picture which we took from a recent trip up to Bryce Canyon that shows some of the colors that we're going to be featuring here. And we're just kind of surrounded with this and thought that you might enjoy seeing a little bit of some of the colors and that we see on a daily basis just from our front door and anytime we travel. But anyway, back to the Plume Agates. This is one of my favorite of all of the agates. A little over a year ago, we did a box with dendritic agates, and Plume Agates are a form of dendritic agate along with moss agates. Moss agates are probably the most common of the dendritics, and then you have your ones that actually have dendrites in them, which we, like I said, featured a little over a year ago. We were going to include the plumes then, but we had enough dendritic, and so over the last year we've been collecting Gemstone Orphans that are Plume Agates so that they could have their own box. And this is an amazing stone. The Plume Agates form just like a lot of other agates, except these come from a hydrothermal environment where there are hot silica-rich fluids that circulate through the volcanic rocks, particularly in hollows and little voids in the rocks. One of the types of situations where this is probably most common is in geodes, where you break open a round rock and inside are all these crystals. Now, it's not a plume agate, but it shows you because that's the center, the hollow center was where those fluids were. And sometimes there are even microbes that are able to withstand the high temperatures of these fluids, and they collect various minerals and they deposit them within these cavities, and over time this deposited silicate accumulates and it begins to recrystallize, and it forms the different chalcedony layers. Anyway, these plume-like inclusions are formed when these trace minerals within the fluids, they mix with the silica during the recrystallation process. The coloration just depends upon the trace minerals, but it tends to range from a white up to kind of a rich orange brown or a golden brown, which here's an example where we go from the white clear up to the orange brown, and there can even be some blacks and other things. Now, because this is an agate, you can have other features of agates that appear within the stones. For example, you can have stripes or bands, like a banded agate or a striped agate. And this one is very subtle, but you can see the stripes in there. Sometimes you can have dendrites that form along with the plumes. You can see that in an example right there, and occasionally even a moss agate, which I almost have one here, but not quite. And these plumes can look like flowers. For example, let's grab one of my flower ones here. Here's one where we just have a kind of a single blossom that forms here in this rich amber color, and you've got a few stripes there too. Okay, so you can have just a single blossom like there, looks like a flower, or you can have like an entire bouquet of flowers on here. Sometimes we have things that look like fireworks as well. Like I think this one here reminds me of the 4th of July up in the sky with the exploding fireworks. And this one's kind of fun too because it has a little geode over here on the side. There's a tiny bit of sparkle in there. And you can see druzy in some of these as well. Now within the stones, we've got some that are kind of thin. Whoops. You've got thin ones here, and this one's fun just because it just looks like a clear night sky with a few little clouds up there. Or we've got fatter ones. Where's a fat one? Right over here. And this one again has those rust colored. This one has the druzy in it. You can see it up there on the side. There's a little plume there on the back. And we've got some that are flat. And so they could be reversed, two-sided. This one has a fun plume on it too, and then it has this little white patch. But this one just has some nice translucency, almost, well, transparency for that matter. Anyway, I just picked 25 stones randomly from the middle of the stones that are going to be going out. We'll probably talk about the names later on when we do the unboxing, and we're going to be doing that unboxing in just a few days. So then the plume agates come from all over the world, but they're very prominent within the United States. See, we got a few that have kind of a feathery look to them too, which I like. This one has blossoms in it, but it's got a few feathers in there too that you can see. Anyway, one of our favorite stones. This will be featured in our box, which will be coming out at the end of October. And if you have any questions or any suggestions or anything, hopefully we'll have some fun tutorials for you using these stones. And we'll just look forward to seeing you in a few days when we do the full unboxing. Thanks. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you aren't already, and we look forward to seeing you in just a few days. Bye-bye.